everybody. This is the last part of my book, Fierce Love, A Bold Path to Ferocious Courage and Rule-Breaking Kindness that can heal the world. And I don't want to, crib on Frank, but yes, you can pre-order my book today at JacquiLewis.com. Please do. All of those early book orders count for your first week of book sales, which makes people keep buying it. But let me tell you a little bit more about it first, just to catch you up. Remember, there's 3 sections of the book: love yourself, love your posse, love the world. And this is the love the world section we're going to talk about. But first, I got to quote my friend Frank, because I do feel like we might have been in the same womb. I don't know. I'm 62. You're a couple years older. But I think this something happened here, right? So when I think about loving the world, what I'm really talking about is this Zulu concept of Ubuntu. Do you all know Ubuntu? Who knows Ubuntu? Okay? So the world's major religions say love your neighbor as yourself, right? Some version of that. And since we're all from Africa, who knows we're all from Africa? Come with me. Yeah, you know who Lucy is, right? You know who he is, right? This ancient wisdom from the Zulu people in South Africa is called Ubuntu. And whenever I try to say the whole expression, I kind of screw it up without trying to Ubuntu, Nagabuntu, Abantu, I think. It means a person is a person to other people. In other words, the Zulu people don't even have a single word for human. You're human through other people. You are human through other people. We only exist because we exist as a community. And so when they see each other, they say Salbona, which means I see you or we see you, meaning we, my mama, my big mama, my auntie, great Uncle George, all my ancestors, plus my deities, plus my angels watching over me, all of us see you. And then the response is Sekona with a click. I can't click, so I'm not going to try, which means I exist. So actually the greeting is, I see you and I am because of the transaction that we're having with each other. And every time I listen to Frank talk or just kind of reading his book, I feel like what Frank has been talking about is Ubuntu. He sees Lucy, he sees Nora, he sees Jack, he sees his grandchildren into existence. He sees their yearning for wood cutting or opera, and follows them and see what they eat, and stands into existence the part of them that is who they actually really are. And I actually think this is the human project. If we get rid of our stuff, if we stop judging each other, if we stop thingifying each other, to quote Dr. King, what we can do is see the realness of who it is that's before us, and we can acknowledge that, and it can become. So this is not just here, it's generational, it's for all time, it's all the encounters. And Frank says in his book on page 78, I think, books change, he says, in other words, our experiences and those of our forebears are never erased, even if they've been forgotten. They're indelible. They're as indelible as names, written in plaster. Experiences such as sharing heart together or building together become a part of us. A molecular residue, I love that, Frank, a molecular residue that holds fast to our genetic scaffolding. And this transcends parenthood. It is about all of our relationships with each other. So I'm wanting to say in this third part of the book, you and I are midwives, parents, comadres, copadres. We are responsible to see the world into existence, to love the world, and to see it in existence, to make a space for everyone to become the best, joyful, loving, whole, healed person that they can be. And my first revolutionary lover was my mother. So when I'm in this section, You and the World, I'm talking about some mother love and encouraging us to live justly and choose fairness and equality every day. Because it isn't just grandchildren, Lucy's and Nora's and Jack's watching. It's that woman in the grocery store watching. It's that congregant in the pew watching. It's your coworker in the boardroom watching. Everyone. Everyone is still becoming and looking to imprint upon something that's good and just. I really believe that. So let me tell you a little about Emma Lewis. Emma Lewis. When I was a little person, there was nothing better in the world than watching my mom, whatever she was doing. Sitting on the pink toilet seat cover. Did anybody else have an ugly, fluffy pink? What the hell? What was going on with those ugly pink fluff? Right, anyway, so I digress. But I'm sitting on the thing and I'm watching her take that Dixie peach powder. Come on, black women. And she was chocolate like me and it was too light, but she blended it just so and took her little Avon samples and made herself beautiful and sprayed her hair. All of this, or making biscuits, right, with flour in her hands, or crocheting. Everything she did to me was just magical. And I remember that she taught me how to see the world and how to love the world. Watching Walter Cronkite, watching the news. We watched Kennedy's casket roll down the mall. We watched John salute. I watched her for cues. How am I to feel about this tragedy? We watched the news when the 4 little girls were killed in the South, right after the March on Washington. I mourn her loss. She died 4 years ago, and I realized how much watching the world without her is different. And I can't say another sentence. But watching the world without her is different. I miss her face. I miss the window through which I saw the world. I miss her especially at this point in my life when, as I write, the world continues to battle COVID and has lost a disproportionate amount of black and brown people, as violence against AAPI people rises, as the January 6th insurrection is still called a peaceful protest, what the heck? As we live in the shadow of the George Floyd murder and all the ongoing murders of innocent black and brown people, I feel like if she was here, and I want you to hear me tell you this, I would tell her how damn tired I am of living in a country that treats black grief as a threat and white rage as a sacrament. We're nice, progressive people in this gathering, and it's hard to talk about race for all of us. I would tell her how angry I am about the ongoing, pernicious, persistent presence of racial prejudice in this nation. The contrast between the treatment of the Capitol insurrectionists and my own insurrection in the same building several years ago. I was there outside of Mitch McConnell's office protesting. I was there singing with William Barber and Sharon Rouse and a multi-ethnic group of people. And when the police came to move us out, even though we were told, it's going to be okay, so by the third time you got to go, I was freaking terrified. Like I had been when I did a die-in on the Capitol floor. And those black shiny boots came nearby. Because I know my body has an ancestral memory of black people being kicked and burned by nice church people after worship. It was scary as hell. Nobody was making space for us. Nobody was moving barriers for us. Nobody was saying, come on, baby, here's a glass of water. You just wondered if you were putting your life at risk. In the aftermath of the disturbing events at the Capitol in January, many pundits wrung their hands and lamented. They said, this is not who we are. Mi gente, lovely people of God, this is exactly who we are. This is in fact who we are. It's so sad. It's so heartbreaking. But this is who we are. My husband and I did a journey this year through the South. The permanent markers of racism in America. The grocery store at which Emmett Till had the encounter that would be his death sentence, right? The shooting deaths of people like Medgar Evers and Martin King. The beating of Fannie Lou Hamer. This America does not love my kind. And the church is complicit, guys. The church is wrapped in white supremacist ideology. The church took the Exodus story out of the Bible. The church made a way for white supremacy to pretend that it was holy and that it was speaking God's will when it made black people sit in the balcony or get out the way or pick cotton in the field for no money. When I was 16 and working on a race project for my high school class, and I saw the bloated body of Emmett Till on the Jet magazine cover, I just didn't have a way to understand the process. That somebody could hate some black body so much as to beat a child, you guys, and plug his eye out, and wrap a cotton gin around his neck and throw him in the river. We're not those people. But Uncle Bob is those people, and Aunt Jane is those people. We sit next to people who are those people who might not ever say, I hate N-words, but who might suddenly do they about all kinds of folks. They about queer people, they about Latinx people, they about women, they about trans people, they about black people, they about Jewish people, they about Muslim people, all the while feeling so good and holy. I have black grief about the way the world turns. And when my black grief shows up at work and dares to speak up, dares to demand the glass ceilings be shattered, the backlash from white rage interprets my grief as too angry. The black employee isn't a team player. He can't be coached and therefore can't be promoted. In this way, black grief, which of course is angry, is shut down. Nice black people like me don't tell white people, come on, my people, let's get it together, let's do better. We can do better, and we must do better. Black grief isn't transient. It isn't just angry, it's prophetic. It knows how to weep to wipe its tears and organize for justice. It's persistent, and it knows how to keep its eyes on the prize and hold on. Black grief is resilient because it knows the arc of the moral universe does bend toward justice, and it takes all of us to bend it that way. I have a whole bunch of white feminist followers in my network, so I always tell them I'm the Nice White People Tour, because I go on the Nice White People Tour as a speaker, and I go, hi guys, and I tell them about race and stuff, and then I say, I am here to enlist you in the project of disrupting racism. And the white feminist women go, yes, Jacqui, we love that you tell us about ourselves without making us feel bad. Okay. Okay. By any means necessary, right? Come on. Feel good about being invited. But be honest about being invited. That healthcare tracks with racism. Economic injustice tracks with racism. COVID tracks with racism. Bad school districts tracks with racism. Voting rights tracks with racism. Abortion rights tracks with racism. Disenfranchisement tracks with racism. The queer community is racist. We who believe in freedom and who believe in love cannot pretend that we are not living our loving lives in a racist nation that doesn't care about fixing Puerto Rico, that doesn't care about what's happening in Mexico, that actually really cares most about propping up institutions that were never built for me or for any of the poor people in this gathering or for any of the indigenous people in this gathering, for any of the non-landowners. It was not for us. And it's not for us unless we make it for us. In the spirit of Ubuntu, my job is to make it for Laura, and Laura's job is to make it for me. Our job is to make America loving, just, fair, kind, resilient, peaceful, joyful for everybody, and to break out of our silos so that we can do it together. The whole last third of my book, though digestible by nice white feminists, is a prophetic call to love outside of the box, outside of the lines, outside of what's politic. Love that will risk laying down our lives to follow the Black, multi-ethnic, Afro-Semitic, mixed-race, Palestinian Jew called Yeshua ben Joseph of Nazareth. Oh my God, if that doesn't cause us a little agita, perhaps something's wrong. And when I think about Frank and his grandchildren, and I think about my little grandbabies, Ophelia and Octavius named after a freedom fighter who was assassinated for voting, Black man for voting, I think to myself, what's the world we want to leave them? I want your little people and my little people to have enough resources. I want your little people and my little people to breathe fresh air. I want them to be able to love who they love, how they love them, without getting stoned to death or fired from work on Monday. I want your little people and my little people to love each other, not because they're the same, but because they're different, and to delight in the incredible creativity of a God who would make you and me not alike, but all badass and fabulous. Amen. That is, I am here to proselytize you, not just to sell my book. I'm here to convert you to a worldview. I'm here to convert you to love. I want you to believe assiduously in love as a public ethic, not nammy-pammy, wimpy, codependent, squishy love song, Motown love. I mean, I will take a risk with you, love. I will wrestle with you, love. I will tell the truth to you, love. We might fight, love. But in the end, we'll be better, love. Love like Jesus is love, right? You see him hungry, you feed him. You see him sick, gosh darn it, you heal them. They don't need co-pays, they just get health care. You see them empty and you fill them with goodness. This is our job. This is my job. And this is your job. If my mother were here, I would tell her, Mommy, I get to hang out with people who yearn for more. I get to kick it with people who are questioning, who are pushing, who are vulnerable, who are going to the edge of what's comfortable so they can try to find a new way together. And that we don't care if we're Muslim or Jewish or Buddhist or Christian. We don't care if we're Adventist or Methodist. We just care that we are going to love each other into healing. And we're going to do all the things we can, everything we can, to make not just this nation, but the world, the reign of God on earth. This is our project, and I'm counting on you to help me do it. Thank you.